नमो नमस्ते गुरवे महात्मने विमुक्तसंगाय सदुत्तमाय नित्याद्वयानन्दरसस्वरूपिणे भूम्ने सदा पारदयाम्बुधाम्ने नमस्ते नमस्ते विभो विश्वमूर्ते नमस्ते नमस्ते चिदानन्दमूर्ते नमस्ते नमस्ते तपोयोगगम्य नमस्ते नमस्ते श्रुतिज्ञानगम्य स्वाराज्य साम्राज्य विभूतिरेषा भवत्कृपा श्रीमहिमप्रसादात् प्राप्ता मया श्रीगुरवे महात्मने नमो नमस्तेस्तु पुनर्नमोस्तु नमो नमस्तेस्तु पुनर्नमोस्तु नमो नमस्तेस्तु पुनर्नमोस्तु नमस्तस्मै सदैकस्मै कस्मै चिन्महसे नमः यदेतद्विश्वरूपेण राजते गुरुराजते यदेतद्विश्वरूपेण राजते गुरुराजते। हरि ओम तत्सत्। शांति मंत्र। ओम सहना भवतु
ओम सहना भवतु
सहनौ भुनक्तु
सहनौ भुनक्तु
सह वीर्यं करवावहै
सह वीर्यं करवावहै
तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु
तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु
मा विद्विषावहै
मा विद्विषावहै।
ओम शांति शांति शांति।
ओम शांति शांति शांति।
ओम शांति शांति शांति।
ओम शांति शांति शांति।
So we were supposed to take up the seventh Anuvaka, but I would like to go a little of the important points we discussed last day from the sixth Anuvaka, and then go over to the sixth Anuvaka was Asanneva sabhavati asad brahmeti veda chet asti brahmeti ched veda santamenam tato viduhuiti tato viduriti tasyaisha eva sharira atma yah purvasya athato anuprashnaha Uta vidvanamum lokam pretya kaschana gacchati. Ahu vidvanamum lokam pretya kaschit samashnuta. So kamayata bahusyam prajayeyeti satapotapyata satapastaptva idagum sarvam asrijata yadidam kincha tatsrishtva tadevanupravishat tadanupravishya satyatyaccha abhavat niruktam cha nilayanam cha vijnanam cha satyam cha nritam cha satyam abhavat yadidam kincha tat satyamityachakshate tadapyesha shloko bhavati. This was the 6th Anuvaka. I mostly took up only the Anvaya so that it becomes easy for you to understand. I think this I am reading first. Here the main point was that even in the 5th also we have to go to understand. It is okay. He says that this asad we had discussed in detail, that in Taittiriya Upanishad, asad means unmanifest Brahman and Sat Brahma means the manifest Brahman. Actually we use the word generally Kshara and Akshara. Kshara means the manifest which is changeful, so it is called Kshara. And Akshara which is changeless. Because any changefulness has to be on the background of some changelessness. So that is also called avyakrita. Avyakrita. That means there is no change of akara, no change of anything taking place. Now the one important point is that they are saying here that asad brahmeti vedachet asanneva sabhavati. One who knows the asad Brahman or knows Brahman as asad, he becomes asad. The importance of these statements, not only this, I said that in spirituality, anything we know, it means we become that. Without that, the knowing is not complete, because the whole thing is to do with the subject, about our own identity. When we say that we know the purity, we will know only that much of purity as our mind and our being can attain. Beyond that, we will not know exactly. That knowledge will not be accepted as a knowledge. Only the experientially attained knowledge will be accepted as that. So, in those who know Brahman as Asat or Asat Brahman, I discussed in great detail in the last class that they get into a shunyata, they get into an infinitude, but that infinitude also will not be known as infinitude. It will be often it is akin to our sushupti or jada samadhi, we say. In those who are practicing samadhi, there will be a tendency of getting into laya or jada samadhi. And they will remain there for long period and come back. But that will not lead to knowledge. So the Upanishadic pursuit is to get to the Sad Brahma, or where we come to know that the Atma or the Brahman has become the world. The whole world is nothing but the Atma. I had discussed in great detail, but there is no end to such discussion. I said that even in Yoga Shastras also, we can interpret the Yoga Shastras properly. People generally say Yoga Shastras, they end in Samadhi, which is, let us say we take the Patanjali Yoga Sutras. The first is Athato Atha yoganuशासनम. Now therefore is the discipline of yoga. Then the second one is that yogash chitta vritti nirodha. Now here it is, yoga is defined as stoppage of all chitta vritti. Absolute stoppage of all chitta vritti. Now generally we have found many people complaining that when there is no vritti, they don't find anything. They ask again, then what is next, what is next? Actually, nirodha is fine. Chitta vrittis will not be there. But when chitta vrittis are not there, then we must discover where the vrittis were taking place. That is the bodha. If we don't have the bodha of our identity, of the consciousness, on which all the vrittis are taking place, even the shunya vritti, when we are not knowing anything in sushupti or so, that shunya vritti also is manifest in the Atma, in the consciousness. So that adhishthan bodha has to be known. If that is not there, then we will not feel fulfilled at all. And what the Yoga Sutras say after that? He says that tada drashtu swarupe avasthanam. At that point, what is happening when there is no vritti? That is the real nature of the drashta. Drashta, the drashtuhu is Shashti Vibhakti. Tada drashtuhu swarupe avasthanam. His swarupa, he is sitting, he is established in his swarupa. Swarupa means there is no vritti. Whenever there is vritti, the mind will go to the vritti. If we think of anything in the world or about God, about concept, anything, the mind will be given to that vritti. So we will not know the swarupa, where the vritti is taking place. When there is no vritti, the mind is actually resting in the swarupa. So we must know what is the swarupa there. Next is most important, the fourth one, sutra. It says, vritti sarupyam itaratra. Vritti sarupyam itaratra. That means other than this vritti shunyata, that when there is no vritti, vritti nirodha, all other times what is happening? It is a great, great truth given by Patanjali, but I don't know, generally it is not interpreted in generally understood like that. He says, vritti sarupyam itaratra. That means when the world is there, anything is there, they are all the drashtas. Drashta is taking the form of the vritti. That means whatever we are wanting to know as the self or God or Brahman or the consciousness, that is appearing before us as the different vrittis, that word vritti. We go on crying about why God is not coming, we want to see God, we want to experience God. Actually, we are experiencing God every moment. When we understand that it is all the vrittis are taking place in that consciousness, in that Brahman, in that I. So it is not actually any shunyata or anything at all. It is not a jada samadhi also. When we understand, this is the same as here. What is happening when we are coming to know the Atma or the Brahman, then the whole world we find it is appearing in our consciousness, in our Atma, in the Brahman. So the whole world becomes Atma Swarupa. So that is, there lies the fulfillment. Now, when we are experiencing the Asad Brahman, Asad, that means we have become Asad, otherwise we will not experience Asad. And asti brahmeti ched veda santam enam tato viduhu. When we know the Brahman as Sat, then we become the Sat. That is why they are referred to as Santam. Santam means those who are given to Sat. That Sat word is from there. This is one important point there. Then the other point is that about the tapasya, we have already said, so akamayata bahusyam prajayeti satapo atapyata. He did his tapasya. He means the Brahman. Or here you can say that the Anandamaya Purusha, because Saha can refer to the last point of where we arrived before this, was we are identifying with the Anandamaya Purusha. It can be taken as that also. That is there the one. So he wanted to become many. Now, how can, he doesn't have any mind or anything, then where will the kama come? Where will be the desire coming in? So naturally we have to understand that this is not a common desire as we have. In many places we call it sankalpa. The best expression what I have found is in Mundakopanishad, where he has said that tapasa chiyate brahma tatonnam abhijayate. The whole objectude is born. Tapasa chiyate brahman. This chiyate word they have used. That means it is some sort of change bringing in, a swelling. Chiyat actually means swelling. That is the Brahman, the consciousness, which is subjective. Consciousness, never think that it is an object and we are seeing the consciousness and the consciousness is getting fatter or expanding or nothing like that. You cannot see it different from the eye. This every time we should remember that whatever is the description given about the Brahman, it is not as an objective description that you can see the Brahman doing tapasya and he is swelling. It is something is happening there, unknown, indescribable. But that is the austerity. Why? Out of the austerity this whole creation is getting born. In the next mantra, Mundakopanishad says, Yas sarvajnaha sarvavid, one who knows everything. Tasya yasya jnanamayam tapaha. His tapasya is jnanamaya. So what is this jnana? We should not forget. It is not the jnana we are getting from the books or knowing and I know the Upanishads and that jnana. No. This jnana is nothing different from consciousness, the Advaya jnana. That is why the first Rigvedic Mahavakya is Prajnanam Brahma. Prajnanam Brahma. Prakrishta Jnanam Brahma. What is that Prakrishta Jnanam? It is not a dual knowledge that I have got the knowledge and that is Brahman. No. Prajnanam is the consciousness which is our real identity. And that itself is the Brahman. So, whatever tapas there, it can only be Jnana Tapas. In that consciousness, something is coming and it is being produced. Other day I had reminded that the closest example you can have from the dream. What is happening? When we are sleeping in the dream, suddenly so many things are appearing. So many unimaginable diversity and huge, everything is appearing. Who has produced it? Many of the things we see in the dream we have never known, never thought of also. Where it has gone produced? Is there any time and space there? Time and space are there, apparently you are thinking. But when you are out of the dream, when you think back, is there time, space like that? Whatever is coming to your mind, that is right there, produced before you. Because it is an appearance in the consciousness. It has the power of showing us like this. That is what exactly the world is also. See, the moment in the dream you see your mother, mother is there. It is not that you first thought about your mother and then the mother's figure appeared. In the dream, suddenly you have created your image also. You are moving in the dream. That how did you create? It just appears. And you are having so many things going on. Maybe you are afraid or you are feeling this, feeling that, dukkha, shoka, whatever. All these things, it is just happening in the dream. It is all produced by your own mind. Now, when you come out of the dream, you can think of the whole episode as because there was nothing else. It is you who had become the dream world. This is very, very important point. Our mind had become the dream world. The whole world was produced by the mind, by the consciousness, without doing anything. It is just out of the volition or sankalpa, the whole thing is appearing to be there. So it is that kind of a production that they are talking about. Whatever we see as the gross material, subtle material, or subtler than the subtlest, everything, all the concepts we have about God or anything, all of those are just appearance in the consciousness. This we have to remember. Now, idam sarvam asrijata. Then that is how through the Jnana Tapas he produced everything. Jadidam kincha, whatever is there. Now here they are saying tat srishtva tad eva anupravishat. Tat srishtva tad eva anupravishat. That's the image given is he created and he entered in everything. Now this is a very figurative expression. It cannot be taken as full. Whatever I have been explaining, that will contradict this, because it is not that he has created the world as different from him and then he is entering the world. There is no such difference at all. If Brahman is creating the world, Brahman is becoming the world there. He is already in there. It is not that he has taken some material and created the world and then he is entering. That is why we are finding Atma everywhere or Brahman everywhere. No. It is the whole creation, because we will not be able to imagine this, the creation of the consciousness. They use various imagery. That as if he prepared, like a so-called god of religion, prepared the whole world and he entered everywhere to become all-pervading. It is not like that. Automatically everything is pervaded by the consciousness, pervaded by the Brahman, because that is the basic material you can call, but it is not an objective material, where the whole, everything is appearing to be. So whatever the Brahman or the consciousness is creating, it is the Brahman which is becoming the world. Even when we are saying Ananda, Ananda, we have discussed so many days. It is not that the Ananda is radiated from the Brahman. Whatever we may discuss, people will have this misconception, as if that I am Brahman and from there Ananda is radiating. The Ananda is the nature of Brahman. So it will radiate Ananda, because it is Brahman itself is Ananda. It is not that Ananda is different from Brahman. Brahman itself is Ananda. These are very, very important statements. Everybody should try to remember and think and meditate and contemplate on it repeatedly. Then only things will become clear. We have to, it won't be clear just by listening also, I believe. One has to think, one has to meditate on it. Tad anupravishya satcha tyatcha abhavat. He became the Sat, that means whatever is existing, and Tyatcha, whatever is non-existence, that means whatever is in the Asat Brahman or Avyakrita, whatever is non-manifest, that also, how much is the non-manifest part, nobody can say, nobody knows anything. That also, but there cannot be anything other than the Brahman. Not only Brahman, it is same as the Atma, as in the previous chapter they have already established that whatever in the cosmic level is produced from Brahman or happening in Brahman, the same thing is happening in the Atma also. So they are including Satcha, Tyatcha, and what is that? Niruktam cha, aniruktam cha. Nilanam cha, anilanam cha, vijnanam cha, avijnanam cha, satyam cha, anritam cha. Everything, whatever is limited and cannot have no limitation. Whatever has some ashraya or cause, and whatever doesn't have any cause. Whatever is vijnana, whatever is not vijnana, you cannot think of anything other than Brahman. The Brahman has become everything. We often ask that why then the criminals are created, why this is created, why that is. It is because we are thinking with our partial vision. Brahman's vision is not like that. Anything we experience or not experience also is Brahman alone. Satyam cha anritam cha, whatever is truth and whatever is untruth also. Therefore, it is Satyam cha anritam cha satyam abhavat. That is truth and untruth. Transcending that is the real truth. That is the Satyam. So we have to understand that how it is then one, just in the same sentence it is saying that he became Satyam, Anitam, and then again he became Satyam. Why twice it has been said? This Satyam and this Satyam is different. The first Satyam is within the ken of duality. Anitam and Satyam, whatever is true and untrue. And the second Satyam is the transcendental Satya. There is something Papa and Punya. Then the higher Punya is transcending Papa Punya. Both. That is the real Punya. Tat Satyam iti achakshate. Tat Satyam iti achakshate. Because it is the transcendental truth which includes everything. That is why it is called Satyam. Let us go to the seventh now. Asadva idamagra asit tato vai sadajayata tadatmanagum swayam akurata tasmat tat sukritamuchyata iti. Here he is talking about a sequence, about time. You can put the Anvaya so that the next one. We have discussed, I am again touching upon it. First was Asad, and Tato vai Sat Ajayata. From that came the Sat. Now, if there is no Sat, I am pointing out the contradictions so that we can go beyond contradictions to conceive of the reality. See, as long as there is no Sat, can there be time? When there is no object, no space, nothing, where is the time? There is no question of time also. So first it was this and then this was this. This is the way we can understand. So they have put it like that. That is, the existence can come from the non-existence. In the non-existence, the existence was hidden and it manifested from there. So, and how is the manifestation? It is not anything objective of anything you are doing separately. It is the Brahman itself which was Asat becoming Sat. The Brahman which was absolutely empty suddenly became the world also. He is emptiness as well as the world. So he created himself. That is why he is called Sukrita. Now the Sukrita is used in two senses. One is the Sukrita means well done. Another is Swakrita. That means who created himself. Swayambhu. Both the meanings are okay. Sukrita, why? Because Otherwise, how this wonderful world will come? Naturally, maybe they are imagining that the Brahman itself was wondering at his creation. Oh, such wonderful I have given rise to. Till the human beings come and start misbehaving, I think he was happy. But there is no such he. Yadvai tat sukritam rasovai saha. This is another point. These are all repeatedly to be studied. That which is sukrita, that means the Brahman, who is called the sukrita or swakrita, rasovai saha. He himself has become the rasah. What is rasah? That which is Ananda in Brahman, when that gets manifest through the world, it becomes the rasa in the world. That means we feel the Ananda, that is called rasa. In Vaishnava Shastra, it is called rati. Rasam hi evayam labdva anandi bhavati. That anywhere, anything we are finding joy, that we are becoming joyous, actually we are getting the joy, getting in touch of that rasa. That means that Brahman's nature is Ananda, but we are not able to know it. Whenever we are getting a drop of it or knowing a little of it, because our mind is in a better state, either it is fulfilled or it has gone what it had desired, so it is peaceful. That is the time we are getting a little rasa, that we think that it is through the fulfillment of desire. But truly speaking, desire is only hindering the experience of the rasa, experience of the Ananda. When the desire gets fulfilled, there is no desire. So the mind for a moment becomes calm, peaceful, free of desire. So that is the time it experiences the Ananda or the rasa. He says, ko hi eva anyat kaha pranyat kaha. That is, if this Ananda was not there in the Akasha, Yadesha Akasha Anando na syat, ko hi evanyat kaha pranyat. If this Ananda was not there in the Akasha, then who would live or who would breathe? Nobody would have breathed. Nobody would have lived. Now this Akasha also, I had mentioned that it has to be understood in two manners. One is the Akasha, means sky in the cosmic level. But here it is readily the Akasha is the vyom inside, that is Hridaya Akasha or Chidakasha. Where is our real identity, where the Atma or the Brahman is. So because in that Akasha, Hridaya Akasha, there is Ananda, we are getting the touch of Ananda, otherwise we would not have got Ananda. And are we not living only for that Ananda? Last day I discussed about it. Whatever we are doing, only to become happy. We think that the happiness is coming from outside. But it is not. So many ways we can think about it. If it was from outside, the same thing would have given us happiness again and again. It doesn't. You stand near the beautiful sea or beautiful scenery, enjoy it very joyously. Within 7 days you will not look at it. What does it mean? We don't do the vichara. We have to do the vichara to know that Ananda is only from inside. When the mind is peaceful, when the mind is not having ragadvesha and bhaya. Ragadvesha means it is clinging to something, it is wanting something. And dvesha means it is clinging to some negative thing which it hates or it wants to avoid. Bhaya means the fear of losing what we like and the fear of facing what we dislike. So it is all to do with the likes and dislikes, raga, dvesha. Fear also comes from there. So as long as these three are not there, the mind becomes placid. And then we are getting the touch of the Ananda. But it is not coming from outside. It is right from within. It is from our own real identity. Now, if we can, out of vichara or experience might be there, but vichara is very important. Suppose in meditation, often you get the bliss, you get flooded with bliss without anything. When you are not thinking anything, when there is no desire, no worldly desire, no world also, when the world has also vanished, then we get flooded with desire. Now, what happens is that once we have it, we repeatedly want to taste that bliss in meditation. So we repeatedly try to meditate and get that bliss. But we don't do that vichara. There is our lack. The vichara should be that if I am getting this bliss when there was no world, nothing, no object, nothing, then again why should we look for the object to become happy? Is it not the happiness is spontaneous when there is no worldly thought, nothing, no thought at all? Then again should we look for the happiness from the world, from outside, from the external world? But we do. Even those who have and we do meditation thinking that the joy is coming from somewhere in meditation. We don't do the vichara, so there we have to do the vichara to understand that for joy we can only expect from within. It doesn't come from outside anywhere at all. Now, there he says, Yada hi evaisha. Next. Yada hi evaisha etasmin adrishye anatme anirukte anilayane abhayam pratishtham vindate atha saha abhayam gato bhavati. This is very important. What to do? Throat is not cooperating. Maybe I am shouting too much. Nothing to do with the cold. Increase. Try. Yada hi evaisha. I think increasing the volume may work. Yada hi evaisha. Because the volume was less, I was shouting. Yada hi evaisha etasmin adrishye anatme anirukte anilayane abhayam pratishtham vindate atha saha abhayam gato bhavati. This is the abode of fearlessness. What happens? In meditation, what are you discovering? You are going to a state where something which is adrishya, which cannot be seen, which does not have any separate identity, which does not have any limitation in all our created objects in the universe. We have limited, they are all having boundary limit. But here There is nothing, no object, no subject, nothing. Anirukte, anilayane, there is no ashraya where you stand. What does it mean? That Brahman should be our refuge, should be our ashraya. But that Brahman does not have any ashraya. Ashraya means cause also. That everything is coming out of some cause. So cause is the base. Now Brahman does not have any cause. It cannot have any cause. It is transcending all the causality. The causality is operating in the universe. So the ultimate truth or the consciousness, it is not an object that it is coming out of some cause. This I have explained so many times, particularly in Nachiketa's case or in Mundakopanishad. Nachiketa is particularly asking that if you know anything that is beyond causality, O Yamaraja, you tell me about it, which is beyond time and space, which is beyond causality. Because causality means time will be there. The cause means which is previous in time, and effect means which is following in time. So they are all together. That all comes in the objective creation. When we transcend the creation, there is no question of any causality at all. So, it has no base, nothing. If one can get established in that, then he gets fully established in the abode of fearlessness. Atha saha abhayam gato bhavati. There lies the abode of fearlessness. So it is why people are not able to get it. It is because of their fear. Where from the fear is coming? They are too attached to their body, mind, personality, their ego, their separate identity. They don't want to lose it. If you don't lose your separated egoistic identity, how can you become one with Brahman? It's not possible. I told you that in Mandukya Karika, Gaudapada is saying, Yogina vibhyati yasmat abhaye bhayadarshina. That this is a place where there is no second at all. So even the yogis, they come away from this, come not being able to enter because they find fear in the abode of fearlessness. In the abode of fearlessness, they find fear. So they get scared of entering there, so they are not able to cross the boundary of the duality. Everywhere in Brihadaranyaka also it is there. We should try to think deeply, meditate on it. Then only these things will slowly sink in our mind. That we are not ready to leave our egoistic identity because we have desires to enjoy. We have the bhogecha. As long as it is there, as long as ragadvesha is there, as long as bhogecha is there, we will not be able to cross this boundary. Yogina vibhyati yasmat abhaye bhayadarshina. What is the first line? That Durdasha. No. Manu. Huh? Durdasham sarvayogi bhi. That first portion is not. Asparsha yogo vainama duddha. Asparsha yogo vainama duddhasham sarva yogi viya something. Yogina vibhyati hyasmad abhay darshina. So, one getting established in such a thing, he will become fearless. And it is the fear which is limiting our freedom. He will become free. He will have the Brahmananda. Don't forget, this is Brahmananda Valli. In the next Anuvaka, they will have the Ananda Mimamsa, which is actually Brahmananda Mimamsa. They are trying to give an idea of the measure of this Ananda. That is why in all the Upanishads you will find that initially they will say so many things, this is this, this is that, etc. Then going to the end they will say desirelessness, desirelessness, desirelessness. Yada sarve pramuchyante kamayasya hridishritaha athamatyo amrito bhavati atra brahma samashnute. When the desires hidden in the heart, in the deepest levels of the heart, they all are gone. Athamatyo, the mortal man, amrito bhavati, becomes immortal. Atra brahma samashnute. Here itself, in this body, in this world, Brahma becomes fully attained. It's not after the body falls. Then he says the other side of Yada hi evaisha etasmin udaram antaram kurute atha tasya bhayam bhavati. If anybody does a little bit of differential notion brings in, or makes a difference in this. That is difference between anything. That between the Atma and the Brahman, between the good and bad, between everything, wherever the differential notion comes in, Bheda Buddhi it is called. Athatasya bhayam bhavati. Immediately there will be fear coming in. As long as there is no second, naturally to who you will fear and who you will be attracted to. There is nothing. Actually, we are always identifying some small limited thing with the Ananda. If we can filter it out of the objective, the limited associations, then we will be one with the Ananda Brahman or the Brahman. Suppose love, always we say that we want the love to come in a particular manner from a particular person or persons and all that. Then only we are happy with the love. But we are not thinking enough deeply. What it is that is giving us the fulfillment? What it is that giving us the joy? Is it not the abstract love? It's the love as an emotion in us. That is giving us the fulfillment. Be it to anybody, anywhere or so. What fulfills us is the love itself. If we can filter out that, how do you do? You start loving everything, start loving everybody. Don't have any differential. Just the love which is oozing forth from our heart, that will fulfill us. We will be fulfilled by our love, whether it is directed to God or dog or anybody. It doesn't matter. So it is always to see if the limited things from the unlimited, that we have to get rid of the limitations which are causing because of our objective vision. Everything we look at as an objective thing. But actually the spirituality means everything is to do with the subject, and it is the becoming of the subject, becoming of our being, which takes place everywhere. So he says that even a little bit of difference if we create, then immediately fear will come. Tattu eva bhayam vidushaha amanvanasya. That is why the learned men or scholars who have not realized, who do not have the aparokshanubhuti message, or do not have the transcendental non-dual experience, amanvanasya vidusha. They are learned, they have learned the Shastras, maybe they have learned the Upanishads, everything. But they have not realized this transcendental oneness. So, they will be athatasya bhayam bhavati. They will not be rid of the fear, they will have fear. Let me see how he has translated here. Amanvanasya, he has written as a foolish person. Vidusha is a Pandit. That I have written. Need not be foolish person, but foolish in the sense that he doesn't know the truth. Okay, so go to the next 8. See here, because it is asadva idamagra asid, the 7th, so the previous ones were previous, the beginning of 7th one. Asadva idamagra asid, tato vai sad ajayata. First there was asat, and from there the sat is born. The very common all over the world, the famous sukta is Rig Vedas, Nāsadīyasūktam. You must have heard, it's very common, very well known. Once a Japanese team of filmmakers had come. They were making film on Einstein, Space and Time. The title was Einstein, Space and Time. So they somehow arrived here and interviewed Swamiji. Interviewed means long interview in the ashram. Those days it was the old ashram cottage, and going to the hilltop temple. There we had only huge rocks. You must have seen some photographs of Swamiji sitting there with Vibhuti and all. So they were filming everything. So Swamiji took up this Nāsadīyasūktam for their explanation. It starts with Nāsadāsit, no sadāsit tadānim. Nāsid rajono vyoma paroyat kimavariva kuhakasya sharman ambha kimasid gahanam gabhiram. The translation is, then there was neither non-existence, that is na asad asit. Na asad asit means na asad asit. Then no is na sat asit tadanim. Now this tadanim is given because they cannot, they are talking about the birth of the universe. Actually tadanim is not possible because tadanim means time. The fact is that even for the simple Atma, one single person also, when he is going into discovering the identity and coming back to the world, again these stages will happen. That is how it is beyond time. But if you are talking in terms of the cosmology or so, actually tadanim doesn't mean, because only when the objective universe is there, the question of time coming in. So then there was neither non-existence nor existence. So he is going to the state beyond, transcending both non-existence and existence. That is the truth. It transcends both existence and non-existence. There was no space nor sky above. What covered it? Where was it? In whose protection was there cosmic water? Deep and unfathomable. Na mrityurasid amritam na tarhi. Na ratriya anha asid praketaha. There was no death nor even immortality. See, this death and immortality also is a dual, because we are surrounded by changefulness and death. The concept of immortality is coming, it is also a concept. The truth is beyond mortality and immortality. Transcendental. No sign of night or day. That one, the truth, breathed by its own nature, without air. There is no question of air in the breathing, but here they have used breathed. The same thing you should be able to identify. Mundakopanishad, tapasa jiyate brahma, tato nama vijayate. That is the tapas. Here they have expressed as breathed. That is just like our. In another place it is there, the whole universe came out of his nishvasa. That is, breathed out and the whole universe came. But you see the interesting point, there are 7 shlokas. The last shloka I would like to point out. The last line, yo asyadhakshaha parame vyoman swanga veda yadiva veda yad yo asyadhakshaha parame vyoman swanga veda yadiva na veda. Whence all creation had its origin, whether he fashioned it means design it or not. He who surveys it all from the highest heaven. We are just imagining, that is as if the whole creation, somebody like God, our conceptual God, somebody is surveying, there is a Brahman is surveying the creation. It is not like that. The Brahman is becoming it is repeatedly I am saying. When the creation is seen, is coming out, manifest, it is the Brahman who is becoming the creation. There is no question of Brahman seeing from outside and seeing how the creation is. Who surveys it all from the highest heaven. He knows, or maybe even he does not know. This one I only wanted to point out. He knows, or maybe even he does not know. That means when we think of the creation, the material creation, nobody can say why, and that why question does not come. In Upanishads that creation is only, it's a form, it's an appearance in the consciousness, it is vivatta. So we don't speak about the birth of the creation and what is the mechanism of projection. Various models are given. They have their own their own purpose. That's all. No model can be fully true about that. Because creation is not a material creation. The truth is, it is vivatta creation. That means there is no, as I said, the 6th verse of Mundakopanishad. That is the most important, the best description I find. What is that? Yattadadreshyam agrahyam agotram avarnam achakshushotram apanipadam nityam vibhum sarvagatam susukshmam tadavyayam yad bhutayonim paripashyanti dhiraha. The first line says that it does not have any material property. So how will you describe it? How will you look at it? Because we are given to describe only the materials we see, the objects we see in front. Not only that, it doesn't have any of the properties of the doer also, Kartri also. Achakshushotram tadapani padam. It does not have hands or legs or eyes or ears. Nityam, Vibhum, Sarvagatam, Susukshmam. All these terms, they mean that it is not found in the creation. Nityam, unchanging, always there. Is there anything in creation? Nothing. Vibhum, which is encompassing all forms and also transcending the forms. Sarvagatam, which is everywhere. Sarvagatam, still you can think of space which is everywhere there, but that is not there in the subject. Susukshmam, these are all statements from the objective level. Susukshmam means subtler than the subtlest, but whenever it is told, we think of the objective subtlety, that the water is subtler than the solid. The gas, the air is subtler than water, the space is subtler than air. These are all comparative studies in the objective level. Here it is not that, it is a transcendental subtlety where the grossest things are also there. The Brahman, it has manifested the subtlest of the things, also the grossest of the things, also the stones and mountains and whatnot. So what is the kind of subtlety? Tadavyayam yad bhuta yonim paripashyanti dhiraha. What is that? It is bhuta yonim, the all that is produced, all that is we are seeing, the whole cosmos, the whole universe. You can say it is the source, although it is not a material source in the sense. It is appearing on that. How do you know? Tad avyayam yad bhuta yonim. It is avyaya. In the created universe, whatever is produced, by that the producer undergoes a change. When the sun is radiating, light is coming, the sun, the proportion of hydrogen and oxygen in the sun, hydrogen and helium in the sun is undergoing a change. Everywhere, when you create the papers, the earlier materials with which it is created, they are not there. They have got transformed. If you burn the paper, ash will be burned, the paper will not be there. You cannot think of any effect without changing the cause. There will be a change in the cause. In the entire creation, it is like that. So where is that? That is why I gave the example of the dream world. The whole dream world is produced in the consciousness without causing any change in the consciousness. Like that, this whole world is projected in the Brahman, manifest in the Brahman, but it doesn't change the Brahman at all. It doesn't bring any change. Avyayam yad bhuta yonim. Paripashyanti dhiraha. That is what the wise people find everywhere. Because everywhere they find this bhuta yonim, this Brahman everywhere, which is avyayam bhuta yonim. Everywhere, when they are seeing the materials also, they are only appearing in that Brahman or Atma. So, when we can get established in such an undefinable, unimaginable, indescribable refuge, then we get established in Abhaya, the fearless, the abode of fearlessness. Now, in the next, they are saying further, describing the fear aspect. Athatasya bhayam bhavati tattu eva bhayam vidusho amanvanasya tadapi esha shloko bhavati. There is another shloka. So, 8, chapter 8, 8th Anuvaka. Bhīṣāsmād vātah pavate bhīṣodeti suryaha bhīṣāsmād agniṣchendrascha mrityurdhavati panchamaiti. He says that Bhisha asmad bhatah pavate. We'll show the Anvaya. Asmad Bhisha bhatah pavate. Why they have started in the previous one, saying where lies the abode of fearlessness, and by differentiating a little also, whenever the Dvaita comes in, immediately the fear comes. In many places, here also you will find later on that Anandam Brahmano Vidwan na bibheti kutaschana, that knowing the Brahman as the Ananda, he gets rid of all kinds of fear. Those statements will be there in various places. He says that the wind is blowing out of the fear of this Brahman. Bhishodeti suryaha, the sun is rising and setting also out of the fear of this Brahman. Bhisha asmad agnischa indrascha. Even the fire is doing its duty, burning, and Indra is doing its duty by the fear of this Brahman. Mrityu dhavati panchama. And the fifth mrityu, because there are already four, that wind, sun, Indra, and Agni. Then mrityu becomes panchama. Mrityu dhavati panchama. That the death also is doing its duty. See, death also has to do its duty. If there is no death, what will happen to the world? It's part of the creation, the birth and death. It has to, that constant death is taking place all over, everywhere. So I think the death's engagement is much more than others, perhaps. Because always so many things are dying everywhere. How many millions of cells are dying every day in our body, and new cells are born. All that the mrityu has to do. Now, what is this fear? Why are they instituting out of the fear of Brahman? So when we were studying the Kathopanishad, there also it is that towards the end, they are saying, Yadidam kincha jagat sarvam prana ejati nisritam mahadbhayam vajramudyatam ya etad vidur amritaste bhavanti. They who know it, they become immortal. Know what? Mahadbhayam vajramudyatam. So why suddenly this fear aspect of Brahman is taken in? Then the next shloka says, Bhayadasyagnistapati, bhayattapati suryaha, bhayat indrascha vayuscha, mrityurdhavati panchamaha. By his fear the fire burns, the sun shines. Indra and air, Indrascha Vayuscha, they do their duty, and also death, the fifth, does his duty by the fear of Brahman, by the fear, by his fear, that by its fear. Now, there are two things here. One is that whatever we can think of in the universe, if they are all having the fear of Brahman, when we take the refuge in that Brahman, should we have fear for anybody else? That is the reason. You are taking refuge, you are getting established in what? Out of the fear of which the whole universe is running. So will it not be the abode of fearlessness, so that you will not be afraid of anything in the world, including death? That is the main reason that this shloka has brought. It is not to scare us by the fear of Brahman. Many people are often doing meditation, get fearful about the Dev, Devi and all whatever they have. It's very common. Many people have such things, such feelings, because their fear is there in their mind, not because of anything else. So even Brahman also we have to fear. No, we don't have to fear the Brahman. We are taking our refuge in Brahman, out of whose fear the whole universe is running. Then we are sitting at the lap of fearlessness, the abode of fearlessness. Another thing is that the way they have described it means that there is a great discipline involved in the running of the whole universe. Everything is to the point discipline. The earth cannot take rest even for a second. Forget about second, even for a fraction of a second. The sun cannot take rest, stop its radiation. Everything is moving as if by the fear of something. It is the discipline that they are projecting through this. And you are taking your refuge in that lap of Master from whom these disciplines have come down. That's it. Let us read thereafter. Bhishasmad vatah pavate bhishodeti suryaha bhishasmad agnishcha indrascha mrityurdhavati panchama saisha anandasya mimamsa bhavati. Now here another, although it is coming within this somehow, I have put it separately. Show the Anandasya saesha mimamsa bhavati. This mimamsa of Brahmananda, that means it is a description and measure of the Brahmananda. It's quite long, I will take up the next day. Only the essence is that they are talking about, the first one is that you have the youth, you have all the qualities of human being, you can become the king of the whole universe. Then that is the greatest enjoyment you can have as a human being. They have then taken the personalities from different lokas, that means Gandharva, Deva Gandharva, Manushya Gandharva, then Pitriloka, then Ajana, Janam, etc. The various kinds of devas, etc., gods and goddesses. Why? What was the necessity? Because we are given all these ideas in the Vedas. That Upanishads are coming at the end of the Vedas. In the Vedas, we are alluding people inside, we are attracting people that do this yaga, that yaga, etc. They will not do otherwise. The benefit to have the yaga, we have to put some reward at the end. So various lokas are described. If you do this, this is the Ananda, this is the Ananda in the heaven, this is the Ananda in the next heaven. So many things are there. Here they have taken all these examples to say that however may be the big Ananda, that each they are saying is 100 times that is this, 100 times that is C, 100 times C is D, like that. But everywhere it is coming Shrotriyasya Chakamahatasya. Shrotriyasya Chakamahatasya. Shrotriya means who has known the essence of the Shastras, scriptures. That means who knows the truth. And such a person will automatically be akamahata. Hata means actually killed, but that means who is not smitten by desires. Akamahata means smitten by desire. That means he has become desireless. So, what they are trying to say is that the joy of the truth and desirelessness cannot be compared with anything. That is the conclusion he wants to bring. The sentences are more or less same. I will read it out next day and meaning will be given. But you should remember that the Brahmananda Valli started with the first mantra, Anuvaka. There it was that all the Anandas he enjoys together. That is very important. Brahmananda Valli, no? No, it is in the beginning. I got down somewhere now. See, it is the starting of Brahmananda Valli, after the Shanti mantra. That mantra starts with Brahma Vida Apnoti Param. There it is Saha Ashnute Sarvan Kaman Saha. I had explained it in great detail. Saha Ashnute Sarvan Kaman Saha. One who knows the Yo Veda Nihitam Guhayam Parame Vyoman. One who discovers the ultimate truth in his heart, he attains all the desires together. Saha means together. Now, it cannot be one after another. Generally, our desires are fulfilled separately. You want a building, you have a building, so that desire is fulfilled. You want to get married, you marry, that desire is fulfilled. You wanted to have children, you had children, that desire is fulfilled. So each desire is being fulfilled by getting an object or so, it is like that. But here they are saying all the desires are fulfilled together. How can it happen? It can happen only when you understand the desires are redundant and desires are only hindering the fulfillment. When the desires vanish, then all desires are fulfilled. Actually, even our desire fulfillment also, it is because the desire is eliminated, is going away, we get the fulfillment. So, this Shrotriyasya Akamahatasya, that in each sentence it is repeated. How many times I have not counted? At least 10-15 times. It is repeated because of its importance. That whatever Ananda you can speak of, the Ananda is coming from within, and that Ananda will be yours when you become free of desires, when you know the truth. Okay, we will stop here. Om Sahana Vavatu.
Om Sahana Bhavatu.
Sahano Bhunaktu.
Sahano Bhunaktu.
Sahaviryam Karavavahai.
Sahaviryam Karavavahai.
Tejasvinavadhitamastu.
Tejasvinavadhitamastu.
Ma vidvishavahai.
Ma vidvishavahai.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti